So for the first question, okay, Koilan buys water for 2.6. Okay, so and the water's ratio is actually 2. So 2.6 over the biscuit price equals to 2 over 3. So by running a calculation, you will get cost of biscuit as 3.9. For second part, Koilan has 9 to spend. Work out the total amount Koilan to spend on water and biscuits as the fraction of 9. So 2.6 plus 3.9 over 9. So the results will be 13 over 18. So this 9 is actually 62.5% less than last week. So last week times 100% minus 62.5% equals to 9. So last week's spending after the calculation is actually 24. Whereby for part B, Priya buys a bicycle for 250 and each year the bicycle decreased by 8% of its value. So find the bicycle's value after 10 years. So 250 times 92% to the power of 10. Then you will get 108.6, and the keyword here, nearest dollar, hence you are required to round it up into 109. So question 2 part A, you can just refer to my drawings and sort it out. For the first one is a translation, whereby for the second one is a reflection. Part B. Describe single transformation T to U. It is a rotation of 180 degree clockwise from the center of rotation, -1, 0. whereby for T to W is a reflection from the line negative x equals to y. Okay, the reason being when y is positive, x is negative. So represent 2 times 2 for the part C number 1. So this one will be 0, negative 1, negative 1, 0. Question 6. So calculate the volume of the trout. So simply takes 35 plus 25 divided by 2, multiply by its height, which is 12, and its width of 120. So the answer will actually be 43,200 cm cubed. Whereby for part B, okay, the middle part here is actually 35 plus 25 divided by 2 equals 30. So multiply it by 6, multiplied by 120. Then you'll be able to prove the water volume as 19,800. So calculate the percentage of the trout that contains water. So just take the information that we've gotten earlier. So 19,800 divided by 43,200, then multiplied by 100%, then we get 45.83%. Whereby for part C, so keyword here is 12 liter per hour, and you are required to find the time. So 1000 cm cubed is actually 1 liter. So 19,800 divided by 12,000, then you will get 1 hour and 39 minutes. So there's 39 minutes. How do you get it? It's actually 0.65 hours times 60. So for part D, the water from the trout just fill a cylinder with a radius of RCM and a height of 3R. So by running the calculation, pi r squared times h equals to 19,800. So we get 3r cubed pi equals to 19,800. So after you run the calculation, you get the radius as 12.81. However, for part E, okay, simply takes 19,800 times 1 divided by 1000, then you get 19.8 for the water mass. Then you're required to add the cylinder mass of 1.2, so your final results will actually be 21 kg. Question 4, pretty straightforward. Simply substitute x equals to -1 and 1 into the formula given. Then you have the sufficient variables to draw out the graph as shown below. So use your graph to solve the equation. So for the first part is actually y equals to 1. So when y equals equivalent to 1, the results will actually be 1.3 for the x. So for part D, there's only one negative integer value k, for which f(x) equals to k. So from which point onwards, okay, you have only one solution and it is negative. So this one is actually -1. So k's value will be -1 because anything above that will be positive, and anything below that you have two solutions or more. E, you are required to compare the 2x minus 1 over 2x squared minus 2, okay, with the formula we have gotten earlier. So we shift out the excess variables, which in our case is x and -2 to the other side. Then you will get the results as y equals to 2 minus x. So I set the x as 2 and 1, and I get the respective value of y as 0, 1. Okay, so I drew out the line, and the intersection point here will be 1.2. Question 5. Okay. First, I fill up all the information that I have. Okay. Angle CKD equals to 65. Then use the cosine rule to calculate CD's distance. So with two sides and one angle, by running a calculation, you get CD's value as 2181.48. Moving on, angle MKC equals to 40. Okay, so with that being said, we can actually use sine rule to identify angle KMC. So by running the sine rule, and you get the results as 78.7 degrees. So the bearing of K from M is 50. Okay, so I fill it up. Okay, then find the bearing of M from C. So I drew a line at the C point. Okay, the straight line represents 180 degrees. And I use the angles reflect to the other side. So the remaining, for us to get the bearing of M from C, simply takes 180 plus 50 plus 78.7. So results will be 308.7 degrees. Wherever for part D, a plane from Colombo to Mumbai leaves at 21:15 and the journey takes 2 hours and 24 minutes. Find the times arrived at Mumbai. So I converted the 24-hour format into PM, which is 9:15, then add it by 2 hours and 24 minutes. So results will be 11:39 PM. And calculate the average speed. Okay, the distance is 1560 divided by 2 hours. So you are required to change the 24 minutes into hour format by dividing it by 60. So after the calculation, you will get 650 km per hour as the final results. Question 6. Okay, find the midpoint, which is 55, 90, 110, 160. So multiply it by its respective frequency, then divide by 160 to get the final results of 101.5 5625. So with that being said, we can now do the part B question. Okay, so it is actually a frequency density. So what I usually do is to calculate the one that was given by the question first. So 40 divided by its class interval of 80. Then you prove it is the same. So which means there's no skew factor involved. Okay, then you can immediately run the calculation for the remaining parts. So for the group between 30 to 80, it is 50 divided by 50. Then you will get its frequency density as 1. Okay, for the next one, is 30 divided by 20, so you get 1.5. But for the last one, it is 40 divided by 20, so you get 2 for that part. Question C. An apple is chosen at random from 160 apples. Find the probability that it has 120 gram. Okay, which is more than 120 gram. So it is actually 40 over 160 times 100. The probability of it will be 1 over 4 or 0.25. So for part D, 2 apples are chosen at random from 160 apples without replacement. So 40 over 160 times 39 over 159. So the calculation will lead you to 13 over 212. So for part 2, one has a mass of more than 120 gram, the other one has 80 gram or less. So one that has more will be 40 over 160, then multiplied by 50 over 159. So do the same thing. Okay, so plus 50 over 160 times 40 over 159, because the question didn't mention whichever come first. So you are correct to do for both scenarios. So the final answer will be 25 over 159. So question 7a. Okay, so keyword here is the cent. So for the 13.56, you are required to convert it into cent by writing it as 1356. So find the value of x. 6x plus 11 bracket x minus 5 equals to 1356. So by running a calculation, you will get x as 83 cents. Whereas for part B, the area of the rectangle and the area of the triangle is equal, which means that y times y plus 3 equals to 2y plus 1 times y plus 1 divided by 2 is the same. So by running a calculation, y's value will actually be 1 over 3. For part C, the cost of the bottle of water is W minus 1 cent, and the cost of a bottle of milk will be 2W minus 11 cent. Okay, so they didn't mention how many numbers was there, so you're required to run the calculation. So y times W minus 1 equals to 480, okay, and y times 2W minus 11 equals to 780. So by running a calculation and comparison, you will get W as 25. For part D, okay, the area of the triangle is 2.5 cm squared. So u times 3u minus 2 divided by 2 equals 2.5. So by running a calculation, you'll be able to prove the formula. For part 2, simply factorize it, then you will get u's value as 5 over 3 and negative 1 respectively. So you are required to rule out the negative variables here, because for cm we cannot use negative to represent it. So you input the 5 over 3 into the formula, then it is the opposite and projection. So using tangent t equals to 5 over 3 divided by 3. So inverse tangent, then we get the angle as 29.1. Question 8a. Okay, so the things that I did was I reversed the angle ABD. So I actually draw it out to let you have a better illustration of it. Okay, show that angle ABD is equals to angle ACB. So A is the common side. Okay, so hence they are the same. So complete the statement. Triangle ABD and ACB are actually similar. So for part 3, actually list it down. AB over DB equals to AC over BC. So by running a calculation, you'll be able to get a length of BD as 8.25. Whereby for part B, you are required to identify U, V, W, and X. So for U, it's actually 38 because angle BAC equals to BDC, angle from the same sector. Moving on to identify W. So the key information here is that we will be looking at EABD. So actually do it out at the side. This is a cyclic quadrilateral. So the opposite add up equals to 180. So by running calculation, W's value will be 78. So for angle V, it is relatively tricky. Okay, first thing you need to identify is that DAC equals to DBC. So I list it down as V over there. Then you utilize the information given that BC equals to DC. Hence the angle over there, which is DBC, also equivalent to 38 degrees. And for you to identify X, okay, we will be looking at ABC, the little triangle over there. So we have 38, we have 78, and we have another 38, and the final value X. So simply takes 180 minus 38 minus 38 minus 78. Then you get X value as 26. For part C, okay, so find the value of M. I drew a line joining up OQ together. Okay, so we have another line which is OQ now, and OQR equals to ORQ, which is 2M. Okay, and the middle value over there will be equivalent to M. So 5M in total equals to 180, M equals to 36. Question 18, pretty straightforward. So this one is actually a function question. I will not do any voiceover for this particular part because all the workings has been shown and it is pretty straightforward. You can just refer to my working and sort it out step by step. For question 10, so this one is the sequence question. Okay, it is relatively tricky. So for sequence A, the term by term difference is actually -7. So for the fifth term and sixth term, simply -7 and -7 respectively. So the answer will be -13 and -20. So for us to get the n term sequence, we are required to find the zero term by adding 7 into 15. So the final answer will be 22 minus 7n. Whereby for part B, so this one is also similar, okay, to the previous one, just that the denominator and numerator both increase by 1 as the terms goes. So the fifth term will be 9 over 22 and the sixth term will be 10 over 23. So for us to identify the zero term, simply takes 5 minus 1 and 18 minus 1. So the final answer will be n plus 4 over n plus 17. Whereby for part C, so this one is actually the geometric sequences. So you're required to find the term by term difference for two rows, okay, and the last row are required to be the same, which is 2 in our case. Then you can substitute it into the formula, which goes by 2a equals to 2, 3a plus b equals to 3, and a plus b plus c equals to 2. By running the calculation, you will get its n term as n squared plus 1. For us to identify its a fifth term and sixth term, the difference is actually odd number difference. So you have two options, either you substitute into the formula to get the answer, alternatively by adding 9 and 11 into it. Whereby for part D, so this one is the trickiest among all of the sequence. Okay, so 2 is the starting point. Okay, then for each term it was multiplied by 3. Okay, so these are the key relationship you are required to identify. So I actually write it down, 2 times 3 and 2 times 3. Then I input the power at the 3 there. So it is actually the second term, so second minus 1. Then I run the calculation, 2 times 3 equals to 6. Then I try it again, 2 times 3 for the third term, 3 minus 1. So 2 times 9 equals to 18. Hence, I'm able to prove that the n term sequence for D is 2 times 3 to the power of n minus 1. So you run the calculation for when it is fifth term and sixth term, then you should be able to solve this question. So if you happen to be stuck at question 10, I actually make a two-part video where I explain how to solve sequence systematically. So you can check out the link I attach at right hand side to sort it out. So thank you for watching. I hope you find this video helpful. If you happen to have friends that struggle to solve all these parts here, feel free to share our channel to them. So I wish you all the best in your exam preparation. Thank you.